Ever since Six Flags and Cedar Fair merged last June, it's been highly anticipated that they're going to be getting rid of some of the parks that they own and or operate. In the most recent earnings call from the fourth quarter of 2024, they basically came out and said that they plan on divesting from non-core parks and parks that just aren't performing up to their level or their standards. So basically they're saying, we are a little bit too big. So Six Flags is going to be trimming some of the fat. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over all the parks in the chain, not including, I think they own 4 standalone water parks.
Yeah, Schlitterbahn.
Schlitterbahn and then something else.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be going over those. We're only going to be going over the dry parks and in turn any of the water parks that are attached to them. So we're going to break this down into 3 different categories. We're going to have safe, and that's exactly what it is. These parks are not going to be touched. At least we'd be absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go with probably okay. And these are parks that are probably okay.
Yeah, we think that they're going to be fine and not be sold or, whatever.
Or closed down
or whatever. But it's not like a surefire thing.
Yeah. And then we have the parks that are in the category. And if one of these are your home park, then you can basically be saying right now because there's a good chance that they will be closing down or getting rid of these parks. But before we get into our list, we'd like to say thank you for coming and joining us. If you're new to this channel, please consider going down and subscribing. Like, comment on this video, and a huge shout out to all our channel members. So thank you to all you guys. And now let's get into this video. I think maybe we can start with the probably okay?
Yeah.
Starting off, we have Great Escape. This is up by Albany, New York. Just got a brand new roller coaster Bobcat a couple years ago. Now, a quick caveat, I don't think just because a park gets new additions before the merger, I don't think that automatically means that it's going to be safe or anything like that, or most likely safe, because Richard Zimmerman probably is looking at right now and anything that Six Flags did before the merger. I think that he's going to be kind of looking at each thing on its own. But that said, Great Escape, kind of away from most of the other parks.
Yeah, the closest one is probably like Six Flags New England, and that's still, a few hours away.
So it seems like it's a nice little park nestled up in its own little region. So we think Great Escape is probably okay. Worlds of Fun. This is an old Cedar Fair park. And they don't have a ton, they don't get a lot of new investment.
Yeah.
They did get Zambezi Zinger.
They got Zambezi Zinger, which is, a borderline family GCI, and they got that a couple years ago. This isn't a park that gets a ton of investment, but it's definitely like a very mid-sized Cedar Fair park or legacy Cedar Fair park. So, we think Worlds of Fun is probably okay.
Dorney Park. This is in Pennsylvania, where there are tons of other amusement parks, but they just got the
Iron Menace.
Iron Menace. I always forget these names. But they just got Iron Menace and just redid a whole area, and that was a legacy Cedar Fair park. So Richard Zimmerman was the one that okayed all that investment. Now I will say I just went over a whole spiel where I don't think new investment really means that the park is necessarily safe or probably okay. But I would lean a little bit more Cedar Fair parks.
Yeah, whenever it's a Cedar Fair park, it's a little bit different because, like you said, Richard Zimmerman was the CEO whenever those parks were building that stuff. So, I think Cedar Fair parks, you could say, okay, they just got a new investment. I think that could kind of mean that it's safe, more so than Six Flags parks.
We got Luron. Luron is always known as one of the worst parks, but it's in a very metro area and gets pretty busy.
It's on an island right in downtown Montreal, and this park does get busy, but like you said, it's known for being just kind of the worst park of the chain. They get absolutely no investment. Like, they're supposed to get Green Lantern a couple years ago for Magic Mountain, and then they just didn't ever get around to building it. It's really weird. But we still think, since this park does draw in such a big crowd and they really just don't invest in it, they're not really spending any money on it.
Yeah, not a lot of overhead.
Yeah, so we think that LeBron is probably okay.
Now we got New England park that we brought up that was kind of closer to Great Escape. This is in a huge area, like in that whole New England, Boston area and stuff like that. So a decent sized park.
Yeah, one of the bigger legacy Six Flags parks.
So definitely think that is most likely okay. Now remember, this is the probably okay. We can't fully justify saying 100% that we think these are safe, but more than likely. This one might surprise some people, but Michigan's Adventure.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people always bring up Michigan's Adventure as like a park that it'll be like the first one that Six Flags will sell or whatever. But we don't really necessarily think that's true.
And, well, really quick, a good time to bring this up since you said sell. One thing that we thought before is that a lot of these parks would probably end up being sold. But now I really think that there's a good chance that some of these parks will just be closed down.
Yeah, like
they might look for a buyer, but if they can't find one.
Yeah, I think most of these will be sold, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't roll out them just straight up closing down some of these.
Kind of what different situation because Six Flags was under different management at the time, but kind of like how Kentucky Kingdom was just closed down and then a new ownership took over a couple years later and ended up opening it back up. But Six Flags just straight closed it down. They didn't sell it or anything like that. Next up, we got Discovery Kingdom. This one is out in the Northern California area.
Yeah, I mean, you have California's Great America, which we'll get to a little bit later. That park, obviously I think a lot of people know that park is definitely, its future doesn't look like it's going to last too long. So we think that Discovery Kingdom should probably be pretty safe since it is in San Francisco and, they have another park that's pretty close to it, but that park will probably be closing. So it would make sense that they would keep this park around, especially since they have no other parks like anywhere close to it. The closest ones would be like Magic Mountain and Knott's Berry Farm.
And it's one of their few year-round parks that they have. I think it's only weekends only up there.
Yeah.
But they are, I'm pretty sure, open year-round. And finishing off the probably okay list, we are going with Six Flags St. Louis. I think we kind of went back and forth if it belonged in a different list. But we ended up going with the probably okay. They don't get a whole lot of investment down there, so that kind of makes me think the numbers aren't what they want it to be because they aren't willing to invest. So that made me kind of want it in the uh-oh category.
I think they don't really need to. I mean, there's not that many other amusement parks around there.
Silver Dollar City and Worlds of Fun.
Yeah, those are 3.5 hours away. This is a park that's in St. Louis. Those people are going to be going to Six Flags St. Louis. They're not going to be driving 3.5 hours to go to those other two parks. So yeah, it draws from a big city, and I think that this park should be all right.
Next, we're going to go with our safe list. Now, these are parks that definitely are not going to be getting rid of.
We'd be absolutely shocked if anyone was, sold or whatever.
Okay, first, let's start with Six Flags Great America. This is just north of Chicago, third largest city in the country.
Yeah, it's one of the largest Six Flags parks. It has, 17 roller coasters or whatever.
Yep.
Definitely not a park. And, obviously they're getting a brand new coaster.
It's definitely something that they're not going to be quick to get rid of. Obviously makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Six Flags Mexico, that's one of their year-round parks in the chain.
Yeah, and they're in Mexico City, which is the biggest city in North America. They have tons of people that go to that park. And I think they like having, a park or a few other parks in other countries than the United States.
The two Texas parks, Over Texas and Fiesta Texas. Over Texas is the original Six Flags park. So I think that alone should make it safe.
Again, also one of the biggest as well.
And Fiesta Texas, you were just there.
Yeah.
Check out our vlog from his vlog from his trip there. But Fiesta Texas, you said, was an extremely nice park.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's the best Six Flags park. They definitely take care of it more than any other park in that chain. So I think they are completely safe.
Next, we have Carowinds. Carowinds is 100% safe in our eyes. A, because, I mean, they have Fury and all that stuff, but also because they actually moved Six Flags headquarters to Charlotte right at Carowinds. So definitely don't see Carowinds going anywhere. Six Flags Great Adventure, one of the biggest population areas, right in between Philadelphia and New York City. So
yeah, and they're going to be getting this giant record-breaking launch coaster in a couple years.
yeah, so Great Adventure not going anywhere. The coasters in Great Adventure, those may go
Those are
somewhere.
going somewhere, but the park itself is not going anywhere.
Over Georgia, this is again in a huge metro area, Atlanta, and they just recently bought the land. They didn't own the land or something. I forget the exact circumstance of that, but so they just invested more in the Over Georgia park. So that is definitely something that they're not going to be getting rid of. Kings Island, Mason, Ohio, one of their biggest parks, one of their most profitable and most visited parks, is not going to be going anywhere. Knott's Berry Farm is their only 365-day-a-year park. Because it's 365 days a year, it gets the most visitors out of any park in the chain.
And like what I was saying with Fiesta Texas, how Legacy Six Flags always took care of that park more than any other park. Cedar Fair really does that with Knott's Berry Farm, and they really put in a lot of work just in the atmosphere and theming and all that at Knott's Berry Farm, more than all the other Legacy Cedar Fair parks.
Magic Mountain, the roller coaster the thrill capital of the world.
Yeah, the most roller coasters of any amusement park in the world at 20.
Yeah, they're not going to be getting rid of that anytime soon. And we got King's Dominion. It really looks like it's going to be safe because of all the investment that they've made into it with the Jungle Expedition area and the brand new Raptura. The thing that kind of made me think that maybe it didn't belong in the safe category was because the attendance isn't great and they're getting rid of their Winterfest. So anytime parks start like moving away from some of the things that they've done in the past, like start taking away some of the money and like start lowering the budget, obviously.
And it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. But with all the investment that they've done, like we said, in that park, we think that King's Dominion definitely belongs in the safe category. Canada's Wonderland, it gets huge numbers every single
huge
year.
Numbers. The Canada's Wonderland and the next park that we have on here and the last one, Cedar Point, those two parks get the highest attendance per year out of any park. Out of any seasonal park, yes. Yeah. So those two are definitely completely safe.
Yeah, and you kind of snuck it in there, Cedar Point, obviously.
Yeah, Cedar Point.
Our home park, definitely not going to be going anywhere. Just did over 4 million guests this past year in 2020, in 2023, and probably did more than 4 million in 2024. Definitely not going anywhere, so we are safe with our home park. But what are not safe are our parks that we have in the category. These parks we think have the greatest chance at being cut out of the Six Flags chain. And we're going to start with California's Great America because everybody knows the story with that already.
Yeah, like they sold the land or whatever it was, and there were the stuff that it was going to be closing.
They sold the land and now are just leasing the park, and we're only supposed to keep it open for like 8 years or whatever it was. So Six Flags America, this is in a very large, right by Baltimore and DC, but still doesn't get a lot of investment. Is right by King's Dominion.
I think the last coaster they got was I'm pretty sure it's just whenever they converted that old stand up, and now it's a floorless coaster, Firebird. I'm pretty sure Firebird is technically their last coaster, and that was just a stand up floorless conversion. Yeah,
so America definitely on the brink of going bye-bye. Frontier City and Darien Lake, both of these parks are just operated by Six Flags.
Yeah, which Six Flags just not bought Darien Lake, but they just started it just became a Six Flags park in like 2018 or 19 or whatever. It was not long ago.
Yeah. So definitely would be easy to move away from those two parks. And finally, last but not least on our list of all 26 Six Flags parks, we're going with one of the OGs that we just talked about in the Cedar Fair chain, Valley Fair. Now, Valley Fair, Cedar Fair came from combining Cedar Point and Valley Fair, and that's how they came up with the name Cedar Fair
Yeah.
for the parent company. But Valley Fair, it doesn't get a lot of investment. It's up in a very cold climate. It's in a flood zone. Like, it just last year was like completely like flooded out from like a really bad storm that they got.
Yeah, I mean, most of these parks are in a cold weather.
Not as cold as, I mean, like Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, Valley Fair. Oh, Minnesota. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Minnesota just recently got like 10 inches of snow or something like that.
Yeah.
So I just think that if there is any sort of, because if you notice the uh-ohs, there weren't really any Cedar Fair parks listed in there except for California's Great America, which was already pretty much on that uh-oh list before the merger. I think if there's one Cedar Fair, legacy Cedar Fair park that is at risk of going anywhere, it is definitely Valley Fair.
Yeah, no, I mean, it'll be hard to see this park get shut down because obviously they have a decent amount of coasters. They have Prowler, they have Wild Thing and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, you brought up all the points. It's I can see it being sold.
Yeah, sold or just the X.
I don't know. I think someone's got to buy it though.
Yeah, you would hope. You would hope for all those people up there.
Yeah, I mean, for everybody. Yeah, definitely don't want to see a park like that just close down.
So anyway, that is it for our list of the parks that are safe, and probably on the chopping block in the Six Flags chain. Like we said earlier, if you like this video, thumbs up, comment down below, and we'll see you guys next time right here on Beach Cliff Studios.